Welcome back, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive into AI and medical devices,
Yeah.
but specifically focusing on risk management
Okay.
and how to navigate this whole landscape that seems to be changing every single day.
Right.
And you've shared some really interesting sources with me.
Yeah.
We've got FDA white papers, IMDRF guidelines,
hmm
and we've even got a questionnaire from the European notified bodies, the Team NB.
Yes.
So our mission today is to really distill all of this down
Okay.
for you and kind of compare and contrast the EU and the FDA's approaches to this whole thing.
What I think is so fascinating is that both the FDA and the EU, they're both really recognizing that AI could totally revolutionize healthcare. And at the same time,
Yeah,
it also comes with a whole new set of challenges
absolutely.
when you think about safety and effectiveness.
Right. So let's just jump right in. Let's start with that Team NB questionnaire.
Okay.
It's meant for manufacturers who are seeking approval in the EU.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a checklist to prove that their device is safe and effective,
Yes.
but it's super detailed.
It is. It goes way beyond the typical software checks
Yeah.
that you would expect.
Yeah.
Imagine documenting every single design choice,
Wow.
how you labeled your data, even the meeting minutes about the AI's development.
Goodness.
I mean, the EU really wants to understand
Yeah.
the whole process from start to finish.
They want to know every single thing.
Every single thing.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. And then when you look at the risk-related questions, they cover so much.
Mhm.
I mean, we're talking about potential bias in your data,
Yeah.
cybersecurity threats,
For sure.
and even data set drift, which we've talked about on the show before.
Right.
But just to remind everybody, this is how your model changes as it learns from real-world data.
Exactly.
So clearly the EU is all about minimizing risk from every single angle.
Yes.
So how does that compare to the FDA?
Mm-hmm.
My sense is that they're a bit more flexible.
Well, I think that's fair to say. The FDA's approach is definitely more collaborative.
Okay.
They really want to work with developers
Hmm.
and use research to find solutions.
Okay.
For example, they've released guidance on what are called predetermined change control plans
Okay.
for AI, and that recognizes that these systems are going to evolve.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like they're saying, let's figure this out together,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
versus prove everything up front.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah,
It's like prove that you've thought of everything before you even get started
exactly.
versus let's work together and figure this out as we go.
Yes.
And it seems like those two differing philosophies would really impact
Oh, absolutely.
how companies develop and manage risk for AI.
Yeah, I mean, in the EU, you need incredibly meticulous documentation to show that you've considered every possible risk.
Okay.
In the US,
Yeah.
you need to show that your device is safe and effective for its intended use, but also be prepared to adapt as the AI learns and changes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like it'd be a real challenge for developers to kind of navigate those two different approaches.
It is.
Knowing when to be super detailed
Right.
and when to be adaptable and flexible.
Exactly.
It's a hard balance to strike.
It is, and it requires a deep understanding
Yeah.
of both regulatory landscapes
Okay.
and the risks associated with AI in healthcare.
Yeah.
But there is some common ground, which is encouraging.
Okay.
Both the FDA
Yeah.
and the IMDRF, which is the International Medical Device Regulators Forum,
Right.
have outlined 10 principles
Okay.
of good machine learning practices.
Good machine learning practices. Okay.
Yes.
So tell me about these good machine learning practices.
Well, they cover a lot of ground,
Okay.
from making sure that your training data is representative of a diverse patient population
Okay.
to rigorously testing your AI's performance and having a plan for monitoring it once it's out in the real world.
So both frameworks are acknowledging that AI is not a set it and forget it technology.
Exactly.
You need to be constantly watching
Yes.
for things like data set drift
Yes.
and be prepared to adapt your risk management strategies
Yeah.
as the AI learns and evolves.
Exactly. And what I think is particularly interesting
Yeah.
is that both frameworks stress the importance of the human AI team.
Okay.
It's not just about how well the AI performs in isolation.
Right.
It's about how well it integrates with the human users,
Okay.
whether that's clinicians or patients.
So it's all about the synergy
Yes.
between human expertise
Yes,
and the capabilities of AI.
exactly.
It's not about replacing doctors with algorithms.
Right.
It's about giving them better tools to make more informed decisions.
Exactly.
That's a great way to put it.
And the FDA and the IMDRF are really pushing developers
Yeah.
to think about that human-AI interaction from the very beginning of the design process.
Right from the start.
Yes.
So what does all of this actually mean
Yeah.
for the people on the ground?
Okay.
The risk practitioners, the regulatory professionals who are trying to actually make sense of all of this.
Sure.
What are the key takeaways for them?
Well, I think the first takeaway is simple. Stay informed.
Okay.
AI regulation in both the EU and the US
Yep.
is constantly evolving.
Right.
So subscribe to those newsletters.
Yep.
Attend those conferences. Talk to the experts.
Right.
You need to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you don't want to be playing catch up,
Exactly.
especially because
Yeah.
the differences in approach between the EU and the FDA are significant.
They are.
It's not just knowing the rules.
Right.
It's also understanding the nuance
Right.
of how they're applied in each region.
Exactly.
Right. And that leads to the second takeaway,
Okay.
which is tailor your risk management strategies to the specific requirements of each region.
Yes. If you're targeting the EU market, be prepared for that intense scrutiny
Okay.
of your entire development process.
Okay.
If you're focused on the US,
Yeah.
be ready to demonstrate safety and efficacy,
Okay.
and be flexible enough to adapt as your AI evolves.
So basically you need to know the rules of the game
Yes,
that you're playing on.
exactly.
And the third takeaway.
The third takeaway is about being proactive.
Okay.
Don't wait for the problems to arise.
Right.
Anticipate them.
Okay.
Develop robust methodologies for assessing those potential risks.
Okay.
And be prepared to adjust your strategies
Yeah.
as you learn more about how your AI behaves in the real world.
So it's not just checking boxes.
No.
It's about really thinking ahead,
Yes.
anticipating challenges,
Yes.
having a plan to actually address them.
Exactly. It's a very dynamic approach to risk management.
Very dynamic, yeah.
And it requires a shift in mindset, I think,
Oh.
for a lot of risk practitioners and regulatory professionals.
Okay.
We need to move away from that static checklist-based approach
Right.
to a more dynamic, data-driven one.
So being comfortable with ambiguity and change is essential in this field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that brings us to the big picture here.
Yeah.
AI is going to fundamentally reshape healthcare in the coming years. These
Yeah.
initial frameworks
Yeah.
from the FDA, the EU, the IMDRF,
Right.
they're just the beginning.
Wow.
We're at the very early stages of this technological revolution,
Yeah.
and the possibilities are almost limitless.
It's both exciting and a little bit daunting.
It is.
Because we are kind of writing the rule book as we go.
we are.
So we need to be really thoughtful and careful about the choices we're making
Absolutely.
today.
Yes.
And one of the most important things I think we need to be thinking about are the ethical implications
Yes.
of AI in healthcare.
Okay, sure.
As these systems become more sophisticated
Right.
and they start playing a larger role in medical decision-making,
Yeah.
we really need to be careful about preserving patient autonomy and making sure that these technologies are actually used in ways that benefit everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly.
This is a complex conversation,
It is.
and we need to be having it now
Yes.
before these technologies become so embedded in
Yeah.
our healthcare systems that it's too late to change course.
Exactly. We need to be thinking about not just what's possible,
Right.
but what's desirable.
What kind of future
Yes.
do we actually want to create
Exactly.
with these powerful tools?
Exactly. We have an incredible opportunity to shape the future of healthcare.
Yeah,
And that's both a privilege and a responsibility.
for sure.
We need to approach this with a sense of humility,
Yeah,
recognizing that we don't have all the answers yet.
right.
We need to be willing to listen,
Yeah,
to learn,
yeah.
and to adapt as we go.
And we need to involve patients in this conversation.
Absolutely.
Their perspectives,
Yes.
their values, their experiences.
For sure.
All of that should be at the heart of everything we do
I completely agree.
because it's their lives
Yes.
that are going to be most impacted by these technologies.
Absolutely. Patient-centered care
Yes.
should be the guiding principle
Yes.
for everything we do in this space.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
as you continue to explore the world of AI and medical devices, just remember that the future isn't predetermined.
Right.
It's something that we are creating together.
Yes.
One decision, one innovation, one conversation at a time.
I love that.
Your voice matters.
Yes.
Your insights matter.
Absolutely.
So stay curious, stay engaged, and stay committed to shaping a future of healthcare that benefits everyone.
Well said.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is an incredible opportunity and to really understand how we can shape that future, I think it's helpful to go a little deeper into some of the specific insights from these resources that you shared.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's get into the details. What really stood out to you from that Team NB questionnaire besides the meticulous documentation requirements?
Well, one thing that I thought was really interesting was the focus on the competencies of the development teams.
All right.
They're not just looking for brilliant data scientists, you know?
Yeah.
They want to see teams with expertise in medical device regulations,
Okay.
software engineering, cybersecurity, even ethics.
So it's really about having a well-rounded team
Yes.
that understands not just the technical aspects
Right.
of AI, but also the real-world context in which these devices are going to be used.
Exactly. The human factor is essential.
Right.
Yeah, and another interesting question in the questionnaire
Yeah.
was about alternative approaches to AI.
Okay.
They actually asked manufacturers to list and evaluate other options,
Interesting.
considering their benefits, their safety, their performance.
That's a really interesting approach.
It is.
It's almost like they're saying, don't just assume AI is the best solution.
Exactly.
Explore other options and justify your choice.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, it forces manufacturers to think critically about whether AI is truly the most appropriate tool for the job.
Right.
Sometimes a simpler solution might be safer and more effective.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so now shifting gears a little to the FDA.
Sure.
Was there anything in their white papers that you found particularly insightful or surprising?
Well, one thing that stood out to me was their emphasis on post-market surveillance.
Okay.
You know, they're not just concerned about getting these devices approved
Oh, yeah.
and out the door.
Right.
They're also thinking about how to monitor their performance in the real world
Okay.
and identify any emerging risks.
That makes sense, especially given how much these AI systems can evolve
Exactly.
once they start interacting with real-world data.
Yeah.
We've talked about dataset drift, but I imagine there are all sorts of unforeseen challenges
Oh, absolutely.
that could come up once these devices are actually being used in clinical settings.
For sure. And that's why ongoing monitoring is so crucial.
Okay.
But it can't just be passive monitoring. It needs to be active
Okay.
and adaptive,
Well,
using real-world data to inform those risk management strategies
yeah.
and guide potential updates or modifications to the device.
So it's about treating that deployed AI system
Yes.
as a living organism that needs to be constantly observed
Yes.
and nurtured.
Yeah.
You can't just set it free and hope for the best.
Exactly.
You need to be watching it,
Yes.
learning from it, adapting your approach as needed.
Exactly. And that requires a shift in mindset, I think, for a lot of risk practitioners and
Yeah.
regulatory professionals. You know,
Yeah.
we need to move away from that static checklist-based approach
Right.
to a more dynamic, data-driven one.
Yeah.
We need to embrace that iterative nature of AI development
Right.
and be prepared to adjust course as we learn more.
That's a really good point. Flexibility and adaptability are key
Absolutely.
in this rapidly evolving field.
Yeah.
So to sum up, I think we've got 3 key takeaways.
Okay.
For risk practitioners and regulatory professionals trying to navigate this complex world of AI, stay informed
Yes.
about the ever-changing regulations.
Yeah.
Tailor your risk management strategies to the specific requirements of each region, and be proactive
Yes.
in anticipating and addressing those potential risks.
That's a great summary. And if we can all kind of embrace those principles, I think we can harness the incredible power of AI to really revolutionize healthcare.
Yeah.
But we need to do it responsibly,
Right.
thoughtfully, and with a deep understanding of the unique challenges involved.
Okay. And I think that brings us to the big picture.
Okay.
What does the future hold for AI in healthcare?
Yeah.
And what should our listeners be thinking about
Sure.
as they continue to explore this fascinating world?
Well, one thing is certain. AI is going to fundamentally reshape healthcare in the years to come.
Okay.
These initial frameworks from the FDA, the EU, the IMDRF
Yeah.
were just the beginning.
Wow.
I mean, we're at the very early stages
Yeah.
of this technological revolution, and the possibilities are almost limitless.
That's both exciting and a little bit daunting
It is.
because we're essentially writing the rule book as we go,
We are.
which means we need to be incredibly thoughtful
Yes.
and careful about the choices that we make today.
Exactly. And one of the most important things I think we need to be thinking about
Yeah.
are the ethical implications of AI in healthcare.
Okay.
You know, as these systems become more sophisticated
Right.
and start playing a larger role in medical decision-making,
Yeah.
we need to be very careful about preserving patient autonomy.
Okay.
ensuring that these technologies are being used in ways that benefit everyone,
Right.
not just a select few.
It's a complex conversation,
It is.
and it's one that we need to be having now
Absolutely.
before these technologies become so deeply embedded in our healthcare system that it's too late to course correct.
Exactly. We need to be thinking about not just what's possible,
Right.
but what's desirable.
Yeah.
What kind of future do we want to create with these powerful tools?
It's a great question.
Yeah, and I don't think there are any easy answers. But I do think that's a conversation that we need to be having as a society.
Absolutely. Okay, so to our listener out there,
Yeah.
as you continue to explore the world of AI and medical devices, just remember that the future is not predetermined.
It's not.
It's something that we are creating together.
Yes.
One decision, one innovation, one conversation at a time. Your voice matters.
It does.
Your insights matter.
Absolutely.
So stay curious, stay engaged,
Yes.
and stay committed to shaping a future of healthcare that benefits everyone.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a powerful message that we're not just, passively observing this revolution, but we're actually actively shaping it.
And it makes me think back to something we were talking about earlier, this idea that AI could actually change how we define and diagnose diseases.
Right.
It's kind of mind-blowing to think that algorithms could reveal these patterns that we as humans have never even noticed before,
Yeah.
and maybe even reclassify what it means to be healthy.
Yeah, I know. It raises so many questions. Like, could AI lead us to identify entirely new conditions or subcategories of existing ones that are personalized to an individual's unique data?
Wow.
I mean, the implications for treatment, for drug development, even our whole understanding of the human body, it's huge.
It's massive, and we're almost stepping into science fiction here.
I know.
But it's becoming reality.
It is.
And, it goes beyond the technical and the regulatory hurdles.
Yeah.
This is about philosophy, ethics,
Yeah.
what it means to be human in an age where algorithms have such deep insights into our health.
It's a conversation we can't shy away from. As we're building these powerful AI tools, we also need to be building those ethical frameworks to guide their use.
Right.
And that's where risk management becomes more than just a checklist.
Okay.
It's about shaping the very future that we're creating.
It feels like this deep dive has opened up more questions than it's answered.
It probably has.
But I think that's a good thing.
I think so too.
It means we're really engaging with the complexity of it all.
Absolutely. And that's what I hope our listener takes away from this.
Yeah.
A sense of informed curiosity.
Okay.
The world of AI and healthcare is complex.
Yeah.
It's evolving rapidly, and it demands our attention, not just as experts, but as citizens who are all going to be impacted by this technology.
Well said. So, to our listener out there, thank you so much for joining us on this exploration.
Yeah, thank you.
We've covered a lot of ground from the nitty-gritty details of EU documentation
Yes.
to these philosophical implications of AI reshaping medicine.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to process, but hopefully you're leaving with a deeper understanding of the challenges,
Yeah.
but also the incredible opportunities that lie ahead.
Absolutely.
And remember, this is not a spectator sport.
No.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI in healthcare.
We do.
So stay informed,
Yes.
stay engaged,
Stay curious.
and most importantly, stay curious.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI and medical devices.
Thank you.